Roger Urbaniak. I'm over here in West Seattle, and today we're going to talk about the real basics of what you need to know about squid fishing. So I'm standing on a dock that the passenger ferry that goes across to Seattle docks at, and it's just a gorgeous setting. Just standing here, and people come and take photographs, and there's a little restaurant, Hawaiian restaurant at the end of the dock, and it's just a nice place to be, if nothing else. So there's two times basically to do squid fishing. There's a daytime fishery and there's an evening fishery. The first thing you need to know is, yes, you do need a license to do it, but but the good news is it's part of your shellfish license. So if you like clamming and oystering, etc., you've already got the appropriate permission to go out and do some squidding. The second thing is, the gear is fairly simple. I'm basically here. I'm going to show you the gear. I mean, I'm using the same rod and reel that I would if I'm fishing for trout or perch or, most other species of fish. And the terminal end of my outfit is, I use what they call a little corky, that will float in the water to basically show you, identify, especially at night, exactly where your line is, how far away from shore you are, and make sure that you're not tangling up with the guy next to you. The next thing that you want to have is the very end of it. You use a fluorescent squid lure that this area right in here, if you shine a light on it, it literally glows. It'll capture the light, and the reason for that is squid are kind of like fireflies at night. They have a fluorescence to them, especially during the time that they're mating, and that's how they attract their mate. They'll kind of flash this fluorescence off and on, and the mate, another squid will say, "Wow, it looks like they want to make some whoopee," and so they go over there and they kind of wrap their tentacles around the squid lure, and the squid lure doesn't have any barbs on it, so basically it just when they wrap their tentacles around it, it'll impale them just enough so that you're able to reel them in, and then when you get them in, you just kind of tip it upside down, and they fall off the lure into your bucket, and which is good that you don't have to handle them too much, because they do have a little bit of black ink that they kind of squirt out when there's danger about, and so you use a pail, etc., that you don't mind getting a little bit dirty, because it will be full of ink, if you're out squidding and doing fairly good. So the next thing is, again, you do this both at day and at night. I'll just today we're here in daylight, but I'll give you an idea of a couple of the basic things that you need. If I were coming out here at night, I would use a little light like this with a clamp that I can clamp it to the edge of the dock and kind of have the light shine down into the water. And then this little converter I hook this up to a marine battery, just like the same kind of battery as in your car, and you get DC power from that, and the DC power goes into this converter, and then it comes out, and you can't buy a DC light very easily, so it converts it to AC current, and shines a bright enough light that as it shines into the water, it's going to attract the squid. That light kind of helps them illuminate a little bit, and it kind of draws them in from being scattered around the lake or the sound a little bit more. During the nighttime, the best squid are in this body of water all year round. However, the best times to catch them are usually October and November and December. That's when they basically come in to do their spawning. The bulk of them do. I mean, there'll be some of it going on through various times of the year, but most of the best fishery, everybody says, October, November, December, come out there. And during that time of year, if you come out in an evening and the squid are really in and they're doing their thing, you'll see this dock will be lined with 50 or 60 people. I mean, you just elbow to elbow in terms of getting a spot to fish from. and which is nice because you don't necessarily have to bring your own light. You can just kind of come in with your rod and reel and a couple of squid jigs and stand next to somebody that's got a light and kind of fish, take advantage of that situation. So the next thing you want to do is, the squid, especially during this October-November time frame, they like to come into the into Elliott Bay and do their mating usually during a rising tide. So when it's going from low tide towards high tide, and then maybe the next 15 minutes to half hour after high tide is usually the best time of day to do that. And the same with during the day. There's going to be more activity. The squid are kind of swimming around and being a lot more active at that time of day than they are later on. So today I just happened to look, and the low tide was maybe half an hour ago, and actually it was an hour ago, and it will be on a rising tide for the next hour and a half. So the tide book is, as is in most shellfish acquisitions, is an important thing to take a look at. So during the evening when you're fishing, you don't need to, the lights attract the squid real close to the dock. So all you basically need to do is just drop your lure right off the dock down to the bottom, reel it up a little bit, and then just kind of have a little bit of jigging motion. Sometimes the squid are kind of suspended mid-level up. This water right here is probably about 30 feet deep at the end of the dock. And sometimes, most of the more squid than not that are in the mating are going to be nearer the bottom. That's where the vegetation to lay their eggs is going to be. But some, again, are suspended, and they'll look for some kelp, pieces of floating kelp or something like that to lay their eggs on. So sometimes you kind of, you watch what the people next to you are doing. If they say, they're, I'm getting them on the top, or, sometimes you'll actually see in the lights some squid swinging around near the top, and you can just reel your squid lure up near the top and jig it up a couple of times, and sometimes they'll come over and just grab it. So anyway, so that's at night. Okay, so I'm going to just, because we're here during the daytime, what I'm going to do with my basic spinning reel is I'm going to cast it out there, let it sink to the bottom, and then I'm going to bring it in kind of a few feet at a time by jerking it. When I jerk it, it will come up off the bottom, maybe 2 or 3 feet, and then I let loose of it, count to maybe 10, let it settle down to the bottom, and then keep repeating that until I get fairly close to the dock, and then I pick it up and I cast out again. So, and the other thing is, especially at night, another little tool is I carry a little portable flashlight in my pocket, and I shine this light on the squid lure itself and help it get fluorescent, since there's no light at night. So I get this fluorescence going, and then once I throw it out there, the other squid will say, "Hey, here's a live one. Let's go make friends." And so having that little light and the people next to you having the bigger light that attracts them into the dock, that's kind of the secret of getting these squid in your bucket. And then usually what you want to do, the limit is 10 pounds, and you can fill a little gallon-sized bucket about 3/4 of the way full, and that'll be about your 10-pound limit. You can watch, again, what the people next to you are doing, but and that'll be several meals. I mean, usually, 3, 4, 5 squid, and the squid that you're getting, they're probably, on average, maybe 6 to 8 inches long. So they're not these big, squid that you'll get down in Mexico or something like that. These are 4 quarter of a pound a piece or something on that order. So, okay, I'm going to just show you the basic casting that I'm doing here. I'm going to, just let the lure go out. You see the splash out there in the water. Then I'll count to probably 15 or 20, let it sink down. Maybe make sure the line is coming off my reel adequately until it kind of, and then I'll watch the slack, whether the line is getting taut or not as it's sinking down to the bottom. And then again, after about 10 seconds or so, it should be down on the bottom. So then I'll click my reel closed and start reeling it in a little bit. Okay, so again, I've cast out, I've let it sink to the bottom. Now I'm in the process of kind of bringing it in at a rate that is liable to attract the squid. So I basically lift my rod up, let it sink back down, and this is pulling the squid lure off the bottom to about 3 or 4 feet off the bottom. Then I let it settle down to the bottom. I count to about 10, and then I start repeat the process. So I just continue to do this motion. So during the process of doing this, both day and night, you'll have other things that will be attracted to or accidentally get hooked to your squid jig. I mean, I've caught crab, I've caught small octopus.
Oh yeah.
I've caught some small bait fish, some small even some small salmon that will come by in school that'll just accidentally get impaled on it. And then you just catch and release them and drop them back into the water. But it's really an interesting fishery. Because of the fact that when the squid are really in, you'll have seals and sea lions out here. You'll have a lot of diving birds. It's a big fishery, and this area that we're fishing at, this West Seattle bridge, just a couple hundred yards that way is the mouth of the Duwamish River, which is a river that the salmon spawn in. They'll go up there. And so this dock, during the fall, people come here and they're casting different kinds of jigs out there to catch salmon, and they'll have because there's a distance down here, you don't have a long enough handled net to get down there. What they do is they use what they call ring nets that they use for crab. Use that in place of a landing net. So anyway, that's a day in the outdoors here at West Seattle, and with any luck, we'll have a whole bucket full of squid, to take home tonight.